find out who was in the kitchen with Dinah strumming on the old banjo, or exactly how Val knew that every little birdie and every little bee loved to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. But he just seemed to know, and so I believed him. Winnipeg Beach was a summer wonderland. It was there that my mother played lingo with Mrs. Turner in hopes that they'd bring home a new lamp or a clock. It was also there that we learned that Val was a pinball wizard, and we stood in amazement as we watched the silver ball fly around the game, lighting up lights and ringing the bells. Val had friends in high places. Robert Paul's mother owned an arcade, and Bob Scardina's father owned the ice cream store. One day we went into the arcade and Val introduced us as his sisters. Mrs. Paul gave us an enormous pile of change. I didn't count it, but I'm sure there must have been at least 1 million quarters in there. And how we ever spent $250,000 in a couple of hours, I'll never know. But we managed to spend it and to lend a hand to the builders. He also stood right here on this stage, singing in the choir, in that booming bass voice that we all love to hear. And boy, could he belt out the tunes. During practice, the choir leader would often say, sopranos, louder, tenor, louder, alto, a bit louder, but bass, keep it down a bit. Proud to have such wonderful sons. These men have definitely been a godsend to the Turner family this week. Right after Doug heard the news of Val's passing, he was headed for the beach with his wife to be with Dallas and Angela, and I spent countless hours supporting Charlene and being a rock that they can all lean on. Only gained 5 pounds on her pregnancy thus far because she has been working out and keeping the weight down. I am in awe that a father would take such interest in the small things of his daughter's life that he would even follow her weight gain during her pregnancy. He so often talked about the girls, their hair, their jobs, their boyfriends, their sorrows, and their joys. It wasn't until recently that I realized Val was born to be a father. It wasn't just something that he did, but rather it was someone that he was. He loved them with every single cell of his being, so that love would be inside them to carry them on. Some fathers leave behind a legacy, some a fortune, but Val has left behind so much more. Legacies will someday be forgotten. Fortunes will be spent, but love endures forever. I imagine that one day I'll walk through pearly gates and a tall, handsome man will approach me with a smile. You must be Darlene. I don't know what will give away my identity. Perhaps it'll be the diapers draped around my hips in my last days, or maybe it will be my shrunken appearance. But if Dallas goes on before I do, you can bet your old age pension that he'll smell like bazooka bubblegum and have some paint on those holy lips. He's with Jesus now. I know that because the tall, handsome man told me he would be, and I just believed him.
Even when it meant very little time for himself and sacrificing things he wanted so that we would have. I could always count on him if I ever needed anything. Of course, I took advantage of this. When I was a teenager, one of my favorite things to do was when we would go shopping and I wanted snack food. I would say, I forgot my money at home, I'll pay you back. He would always give in and buy it for me.
And he came up with some really unique antidotes, sayings, and everybody in the shop misses his Donald Duck impersonation. So, yes, we will miss him very, very much at shop 347-000 in Winnipeg, U-Haul.
Thank you.
Hope I don't cry. That's
that's why I kind of hesitated coming up. I'm going to miss Val. He was my first brother. And as Darlene said, he helped me so much. Excuse me. My son was little. I was a single mom, and Val filled in. He used to take us to the hospital all the time. Paul's a hemophiliac, and we were there weekly at least. He'd drop Dallas and I off. We'd go pig out in the cafeteria. Then we'd phone him, and he'd come and pick us up. And he kept that up over the years with all my kids, actually. Andy, he had a special relationship with him. Mindy, who I don't think is here today, but I'm going to miss him so much. I'm glad that that man mentioned his Donald Duck. I've been thinking about that. And the Shaz, but forgot about that one. But I don't know, this past week, I thinking about the weirdest things. His piano playing. I guess that was Agnes Street when he played Night Sonata for me one day. Still my favorite piano song. But I'm going to miss him, and I've been praying for you guys. And I just, thanks. I'm glad I met him. Thanks, Mr. Turner, for having me.
Thank you.